Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the market recap. Okay, so before we hop into the news and the charts, make sure you are on the Discord because we've been really going at it during this free trial of the swing trade service. We've been calling out trades left and right. We have call outs for both crypto and stocks. It's been non-stop, so make sure you are in here. That way you can participate, and maybe if you like the service, you can then follow it after the free trial ends by the end of this month, and you can use either Patreon or you can use crypto. If you rather pay with Bitcoin, you can do it right through here. Okay, all right everyone, let's hop into the news. So today was a fairly important day in regards to news. We got the unemployment rate and the non-farm payrolls, and the unemployment rate missed. We ended up having more unemployment, so it was forecasted to be 3.6, ended up being 3.7, and the non-farm payrolls ended up being forecasted to be 195, and that actually beat and went up to 261. So not bad, but overall it's just reiterating that we're still in an economic slowdown and doesn't look like it's bottoming out anytime soon. The U.S. average earnings year over year were about the same, so we showed no growth. So it's not surprising, and considering that now inflation is still rising, and then we're also getting more manufacturing and shipping gridlocks, prices for everything are going to go up even more. So it's going to be very, very hard for businesses to now also hire, even though we have, I think it's like 4-to-1 in jobs to people right now. As we get into the winter months, that's going to start evaporating. So people who don't want to work right now but are going to have to work later on are going to have trouble finding those jobs that would be open right now. So we're in some tough times. But let's hop into the charts, see what they're telling us. So looking at the Dixie, pretty much doing exactly as we saw it coming. We kind of mapped this out. We're in this bullish descending structure, but as we were rising, what did I say? Watch for the decision time. If it breaks through, we're going to get past 114 and going towards 118, 120. But I did say the probabilities were on the side that we would get towards this zone and fail off of it, and that's immediately what we've done. all today we engulfed yesterday and the day before and the day before that, and now are attacking that ascending trend line, which is by probabilities very likely going to break. Okay, now it breaking doesn't mean that okay, now we're going to see lows upon lows on the dollar. Actually means the opposite. What it does mean is we're going to go into a bullish consolidation, most likely respecting this trend line, maybe even tapping under it, getting towards this zone here, and then trading along it. Okay, that's overall fairly bullish on the longer term. Short term though, that's great if you're looking for a rise going into November and December, and overall having a bullish Q4, which is what I've been mapping out and seeing as the charts have been maturing. So far everything's going according to plan. So again, make sure you are in the Discord if you're not, and if you are in the Discord and you aren't following the trades, honestly, I feel like there's a huge mistake. I think we're primed to have a very profitable November and probably even more profitable in December. So I think you're really missing out if you don't, at least, follow one or two trades and get a chance to, participate in this service for free before it goes back behind the paywall. Just saying. All right, so next let's take a look at the Dow. So Dow popping up, didn't actually get to go further into the zone, but tapped the very top of this fair value gap. Okay, so it tapped around that fair value gap and then wicked up, and then today having that continuation higher. And what's interesting to see is if we have continuation on Monday towards the upside and take out the highs of today on Monday, then I do think that this trend line is going to break bullish. So I'm liking what I'm seeing, but my personal opinion is still not changed. So what I'm still seeing is we will likely come back into this zone. However, we may not come towards the bottom zone here, and we may only get towards the median fair value gap right here via a bullish consolidation. Okay, so for bullish consolidations, what we want to see is essentially we want to see price slowly grind down into a bullish level. Okay, that's the most ideal thing. So you essentially want to see what you're seeing here, a grind up and then a grind down, sort of like this. All right, and that creates a flaggish structure. Let me try and draw that better. So forgive me, something like that. Okay, so that creates a flaggish structure, and that's what you want to see if you want a bullish consolidation ideally, and then a breakout once it holds that general bullish zone and then continues higher. So that's kind of what I'm seeing potentially forming here. Or we may just see, starting next week, a blast off from going up past the trend line, which is possible as well. Either way, I believe the Dow is potentially an exchange of character. You can look at the last recap. I go in more depth, about how this was a lower high, lower low, higher high, lower low, and then making a potentially another higher low from this pivot right here. So it's like we're definitely on the cusp of a move to the upside, in my opinion. So looking at S&P next. So S&P also getting a bid, making it under this pivot here, so grabbing liquidity there, and just missing, towards this zone down here where liquidity is resting. Again, I still think that we may veer a little bit further down early next week. But if the Dow has that continuation, going into Monday and Tuesday, then we're probably just going to see the S&P come right on back and start pretty much trying to fill out the fair value gap it painted right here. So pretty much right into this zone here. And then potentially if it takes that zone out, fills that gap, then we're looking for a break of this high pivot and going into this fair value gap right here, this bearish fair value gap right here. Let me just change that to red right there. Okay. So that's where I see this coming. If the Dow has immediate continuation early next week, we'll probably break right through this fair value gap, fill this up, and get right above this level going into this zone here. Next is the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ pretty much was able to tap under the liquidity of this level here. Didn't reach the actual wick zone right there. Just take some of these doodles off. But overall, potentially making a higher low from here. And then if it does, look for it to come all the way back up and test the top line of the descending channel once more. Okay, because that's what's being attempted here. Okay, so the NASDAQ is looking to try and get the fuel to break out of this descending channel. All right, so the next move up, in my opinion, it won't stop at 11,070 at this horizontal resistance support zone. It will break past that and get towards the descending top line here. And then we'll have to wait and see how the NASDAQ looks as it approaches and where the Dow's sitting. Next is oil. Oil having one hell of a day. So oil coming on up. Again, I gave you both directions, and I said that it's most likely, most probable for it to come up. Okay, but I also had to give you the roadmap if what would happen if it came down, and that wasn't far off either. It was very, very close. We're talking like 60-40, 50, almost 50-50 essentially of where oil was going to go. But I did see the bullish bias winning out, and so far that looks like what's happening. You're having a very bullish day, filling out this fair value gap here. We can actually close this out once this daily candle closes. And then we're potentially going to test this ascending trend line, and eventually I believe we'll break it and we'll come back up towards this ascending trend line right here, and that's where we'll probably find some decent resistance, and we may end up having a pullback from there. So I think we're destined to see oil back at 100 to potentially even 110 once more. All right, next is gold and silver. All right, look at this. What have I said? What have I said? Once gold starts breaking through this level, this is when it gets interesting. And what was crazy is it did something very improbable. It had me giggle a little bit when I saw it. A triple bottom via the wicks here. Okay, that is very rare. Very, very rare. Usually when you have a double bottom that's wick based, those get run. But in this case, nope, it didn't. It just went straight up after it tapped into this liquidity zone one more time. Absolutely beautiful. And now we're seeing in our GDX positions, our GLD and SLV positions, the fruits of this break to the upside. Very happy to see. So we're probably going to see those microphone structures in SLV and GDX fill out to the top side, and we're beginning to see potentially a breakout move for gold. So I'm loving it, and this is what I want to see. And I believe once we confirm this breakout, so what we'll need is now next week we'll need Monday for the daily candle to close above the highs of this candle, as long as it closes above this descending trend line. That will confirm it, and then potentially it may need that retracement back and then popping out further. But other than that, this is really nice to see. This is potentially the beginning of a much larger move to the upside on gold. All right, next is silver. And what's silver doing? Remember, it's in that microphone structure. So where is it running to? The top side of that microphone structure. I'm loving it. And now we're going to see, will it hold this level as resistance, or will it actually get the fuel to break out further? All right, now this is going to be interesting. And I do think gold is going to be the measurement on this, because if gold, breaks out like it is now and then starts retracing back to test these zones as resistance, then that's when I see silver probably tapping near this level early in the week and then coming back to fill out these fair value gaps, and as gold comes back to test those supports. So I am really enjoying watching gold and silver, and finally they're showing some life. If silver should make it back to this ascending trend line, we have to assume it's most likely going to break. Okay, so the longer it stays away from that, and that the better it is if you want more short-term upside. And last but not least, Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Let's see. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. Wrong chart. I used the index. There it is. So there is Bitcoin. Oh, look at all the doodles. Let me get rid of some of. I'll keep that one. I'll get rid of this one. So this, this was, I was saying, potentially the beginning of a bullish consolidation. But if we have a candle closure like this, and then the next daily candle starts trading above the wicks here, it's very unlikely that this will be a bullish consolidation, and this was just a bullish retracement back to this fair value gap right here, tapping the top side and then coming up. Either way, it's playing out as we thought it would, a bullish breakout. Okay, double bottom structure, bullish breakout, and then came back, tested this small liquidity zone right here, this fair value gap, and now potentially finding the fuel to close nearly above this high pivot here, and then almost completely filling out this imbalance. And this sort of candle, if we close like this in 4 hours on the daily, is implying continuation to the upside. So over the weekend, we may see a very bullish Bitcoin, and that would be a very bullish crypto market, which is definitely what we want to see. So I'm loving how this looks, and I do think if we do have that bullish close today, and we do have that continuation going into tomorrow, watch out for a 24,000 Bitcoin sometime early next week to middle of next week. It can get that parabolic, guys. I'm loving how this looks. This looks absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. We're finally potentially on the first steps of a much larger move that could bring us all the way back towards 30,000 and even higher towards the 40s and in almost the 50,000s. Okay, so don't underestimate the move that's coming, but also do not get blinded. Even if we were to get up to the 50,000s, the 40,000s, we are still in a macro bear market. The only time this will change is if this high here, so let me circle this for you because I want this to be very clear, especially if you're not going to be in the service with me past November. You need to know this. If you're going to be a member, you're going to be getting a lot of this information over and over and over, so you'll know. But if you're not, this level here, this pivot is key. So 48,000, a closure on the weekly time frame of 48 to 50,000 will then begin the change in character. Okay, that will begin the change in character on the macro scale. That needs to be understood. That does not mean if it closes above those levels on the weekly, it's going to shoot right up. No, it means what it really means is when the retracements happen from this zone on a weekly level, you want to look for a bullish retracement. So you want to look for a new higher low on the macro structure that will then lead to a larger move going towards the all-time highs. And we're very far away from that. We're not there right now, but this is potentially the beginning of that. Okay, so we have to be prepared for that. However, the probabilities are on the side that Bitcoin gets up towards 30,000, towards potentially the low 40,000s, like 42,000, and then falls lower over the rest of next year. Okay, you gotta keep that in mind as well. The probabilities are still on the side of a macro bear market for both the equities and crypto. All right, okay, all right, everyone. That's all I'm going to go over today. Make sure, if you're not participating in the free trial, to really think that through. Our trades may take some time, but the success rate is extremely high. One loss in crypto for the year, one loss in stocks for the year, over 80 trades in stocks and over 40 trades in crypto. You really can't beat that. They may take some time, but you also give no money back. You know what I'm saying? All right, everyone, take care. And always remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. I love you guys. Take care.